Hi witches, welcome back to my channel. It's me, your local chaotic witch aunt, and I'm here with, the baby. Thank you. Thank you. Are you done? I may speak a little quieter today, so I'm gonna move this up because my partner got moved to night shift and he's been on and off night shift all fucking week. I am pissed off about it. I don't know if you can tell. But today, we're having a little bit of a tea time, story time, story tea time, tea story time. This is the story. I don't know if this is gonna be something that I continue, but I'm just kind of in the mood to drink tea and talk, you know? So, story time. This is the story of the lemon gutter hex. If you've known me from TikTok, you're probably more familiar with this story because I talked about it on TikTok a couple times. I don't really talk about it that much anymore and I haven't spoken about it in ages, but you guys wanted a little lemon gutter story time. So this is this lemon gutter hex. Yeah. Today I'm drinking vanilla caramel black tea because I was craving like Earl Grey, that kind of like creamy black tea. So let me set the scene for you. I am 17, not now, but I was 17. I was in high school, probably 18. No, 17, 18. I think it was before I turned. I don't remember how old I was in high school, okay? I'm sure I could trace it in my head, but I don't feel like it. It was what the kids today refer to as a baby witch, a beginner, fresh in the area of the witches. You know, most of the information I gathered was from Cunningham's Book of Shadows, Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Herbs, Cunningham's Incense. Before my Italian-American folk magic journey, before I was a folk practitioner, even really a dedicated witch, I was a beginner, like you all. There was a girl who I was friends with in high school. She was not nice. She was not a good person. I mean, and I don't know her now. I just know that when I knew her, she did not treat me very well. So in my mind, she is not a good person. I'm sure that she has a lot of people she gets along with great. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and say, you know, she's a terrible person, but when I knew her, she was not a good person. There are a lot of things that happened. I refer to her as a high school bully kind of at this point. So does the rest of my family. I was also like undiagnosed neurodivergent, you know, so there was a lot happening here, you know, like a lot of things. So it's fully possible that from her perspective, she thought I was a terrible person as well. But that's also kind of a shitty thing. She did a shitty thing to me. She slept with the person I was seeing. This person and I weren't dating. We weren't boyfriend and girlfriend, but we were, you know, interacting with each other. And there was a time when I thought that this person who's my friend, was interested in this guy I was seeing. And I said, you know what, if you want to like hang out with him and sleep with him and do stuff, I can just back off. Like I can call it off. We don't have to be a thing. She said, no, I'm not in. I love him like a brother. A brother she was fucking. This is such a trip down memory lane. God. So like that was the main thing. There was a lot of other smaller little stuff that occurred between me and her and me and my friend, and a lot of people kind of being bystanders and not really calling her out on some really shitty behavior that truly was just like picking on me because I was, you know, probably missing social cues. I was probably missing some context in certain situations, and maybe I did come across as a bit of a bitch, but instead of, you know, having those conversations with me one-on-one, face-to-face, this girl instead thought it was more appropriate to tell everyone what she thought about me, which is apparently not very good, but be very nice to my face. Very two-faced, very much not a good situation. So this is the scene. I'm 17 years old. I'm fresh out of like a relationship and, you know, fresh out of this situation where she had kind of been in similar circles with me for a really long time. And, you know, whatever. This is all backstory, okay? it gets to the point where I'm like end of my senior year. I'm feeling, you know, 6 months into my craft, confident as shit. I was not as good of a practitioner as I thought I was, but there had been something that had happened that was like cherry on the cake. I didn't want anything to do with this person anymore. I felt like it had gone on for too long. No one had done anything. She was being really mean and really awful to me. And I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna hex her. I'm gonna fucking hex her. Here's the thing, great idea in theory, okay? She definitely deserved it. It was 100% justified. I mean, I still feel like 5 years later, I probably could have just given her a little bit of like a jinx and I would be fine with it now. But the thing about baneful magic is the concept can be so good. And then all of the steps leading up to the action or even one misstep can fuck up the entire procedure. So I, of course, logged on to Pinterest. I think everyone knows how this is gonna go now. I logged on to Pinterest to find a hex. Not even a video. Not even an instruction manual. I got it from a fucking graphic. Pinterest hex graphics. This wasn't even the worst. This isn't even the worst part, by the way. Mind you, this was 5-6 years ago now. I have since learned from this. I have learned from many teachers. I am still pro baneful magic. If you want to take anything from this video, I don't want it to be, I should never hex anyone, it'll backfire on me. I want to take, I want you, the lesson of this video for you guys to be, don't be stupid when hexing. Like practice safe hexing. That is what this has taught me, okay? So I got a lemon. It called for war water, which by the way, I haven't made war water in years. Once again, beginner, didn't know the origins of war water, anything about war water, just found it on Pinterest and was like, let's do this. That sounds great. I got a lemon from the kitchen. I was living with my parents. I was a teenager. And it was like lemons, chili pepper, like the very stereotypical lemon hex you saw on TikTok in 2020, right? So it was not a bad hex. It wasn't a bad hex. It just, the execution was really terrible. You know, I was a teenager. You know, I was like, I didn't really have any place to put this. In reality now, there are a lot of things that I wouldn't have done again. Like, I did this in my house. I made war water in my house and did this hex on the floor of my bedroom. I had a lot of rage pent up at this point. I was very angry. I was angry all the time as a teenager, which I'm still, you know, angry, but like my Finsta handle was small and full of rage and everyone was just like, yeah, I was really angry. So I was even angrier at this person. There was so much pent up energy. So I know that if I did this properly, like had followed the proper procedures afterwards, it probably would have gone relatively well. It probably wouldn't have been a bad decision. What did happen is I did the hex on my floor, poured all of these really intense emotions into it. Fucking anger, betrayal, upset, just all of these things, poured it into this spell. And then I hung it outside my room on my window. So I don't know if anyone ever watched some of my old content or if these windows were ever in the background, but they are shaped like this, okay? They're like little butterfly wing windows. And these butterfly wing windows had a latch right here. You can push it out, pull it in, latch, push it out, pull it in, latch. There was no screen on them. They were like just one pane windows, right? I did this. I hooked it to the latch. I tied it to the latch and then put it out the window and closed it. So it wasn't even like a good knot. Like it was just there. And then one day I opened my window because it was hot or it was cold or I wanted to get a picture, you know, open the window and I just hear something fall down the fucking roof and just like I look and it's the lemon hex tumbling down the roof and then off my roof. Here's my roof. Here's the roof outside my parents' window. Off my little roof here, onto here, all the way down and into the gutter. I'm crying. And then I am like, fuck. And I go down and I'm like, I need to find it. It's not on the ground. And I'm like, okay, it must be stuck in the gutter. And instead of just doing the thing that I would do now, which would be go to my parents, be like, I need a ladder. I dropped something in the gutter and I need to get rid of it. Because they would just be like, what the f do you do? You know, instead of doing that, I just decided to not say anything and leave it in the gutter. Even if you don't believe in magic, right? Imagine you take something and you just like, you know when you have an emotion that's so fucking intense and that emotion is so intense, but it's associated with something? That was this lemon. This lemon had associations with my irreparable rage, my betrayal, like all my nasty feelings, I just directed at this lemon. And for practitioners, you know that that's the way you do spells. It's the way you put things into the world. It's the way you take action, is you direct that intention and that at someone. I didn't even have a clear intention with this. It was just fucking merciless rage. I was like, I don't care what happens to her. I just want her to know, like, that she doesn't deserve a good thing in this world. Mind you, now, if I wanted to hex this person, like really wanted to, I would do it and I'd be able to do it well. I don't care enough anymore because I'm doing great. And I don't know anything about them. I have no interest in ever being around them again. And that's okay. Indifference is, for me, oftentimes what I land at when I think about hexes at this point, and that's okay. You know, so we can debate whether or not this was a justified approach for 16, 17-year-old Frankie, right? Not knowing anything about it. The only other spells I have done were like charming protections, a little like romance attraction spell for me and my current partner. That was it. I wasn't very experienced in spell work and I didn't know how to undo things. So mind you, the one rule that I always talk about in my videos is don't do something you don't know how to undo. I had no idea how to undo this. I didn't have access to anything that I have now that, like, if God forbid a hex went wrong and it was affecting me, I could call my friends. I could be like, this is what do I need? I know like the general way to do it, right? I had no idea what I was doing. So then I promptly forgot about it in the gutter until I was getting driven to college, my first college. I'm not in college right now, but I was getting driven to college, and in the middle of a 6, 7, 8 hour drive, I'm like, this is how my parents say it happened, okay? By the way, I still get a lot of shit for this in my family. They 100% blame me for everything that happened. Everything bad that happened in those 3 years. So according to my parents, how it went, and I can't tell it exactly perfect because I'm not them, was something along the lines of, oh, hey, by the way, there's a lemon in the gutter. You have to go get it and then bury it at a crossroads. And they were like, what the f are you talking about? Oh yeah, there's a hex in the gutter, just buried at the crossroads. And they're like, where the f are we supposed to find crossroads? Because I was living in like suburban Pennsylvania. All the crossroads were cement, concrete. There was nowhere to bury something. And then, oh God, I went to college and the lemon hex was forgotten about. It stayed in the gutter of that house where my family lived for 4 years. If you're wondering how long something like that lasts, if you forget about it and don't do anything, at most, max 4 years. It just kept rolling. And by the time that we found it, when I went home in about 2020, so 4 years later, when the pandemic happened in 2020, I went home and my parents were cleaning out the gutter and they found it shriveled up, or there wasn't even a lemon left. It was just pins and thread. And I was like, oh my God, you are fucking kidding me. So I then took it and burned it. And right after, my dad got a job in Colorado and we all moved out here. There were a lot of things that happened in that time period that, you know, for a lot of it was very mundane, but I don't think having a curse lying around was probably the best. So I can't 100% blame these things on that. And of course, if my mom was here, she'd be like, no, it was you. I blame you. Not for everything, but like, there were a lot of things that went wrong in those 3-4 years, okay? And it really only subsided when I removed the leftovers and burned them. And then I moved to Colorado, and then I met my partner of 2 years, and then my sister has a boyfriend, and my dad has a job. Like all of these things just kind of clicked into place after, and it was just this one thing that, like, it probably was really bad and really negative at the beginning, and then over time it just kind of became a presence, you know. I also heard reports of like things walking around in my room when I went to college, so I may or may not have summoned something. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, here's what you can take from this story time, okay? 1, practice safe hexing. I don't care what kind of hex you do. I'm not gonna shit on a lemon hex if that's your vibe, okay? Never hex in the house, don't shit where you eat, and always, always, always take the lemon or the hex far the fuck away from your house. If you don't have the capability to do that, don't do shit. Don't do anything. I'm so serious too. Because like most things, most magic that I talk about on this page, it's like you can kind of mess around with it, you can fuck around and find out. A baneful magic is one of those things that I really encourage you not to fuck around and find out, because I fucked around and found out and it didn't go well. No one was having a good time. I'm still blamed for this shit 3 or 4 years later. 3 years after I took care of it. 6 years, 7 years after the original hex. I'm still blamed. My family, my boyfriend worries when I have a lemon around, because he's heard this story. And he knows me, and he's had spells that I've done for him before, and he doesn't want to fuck with me that way. We don't want to fuck with that. So, always, always, always find a place outside of your house. I don't care if it's an outdoor altar. I don't care if it's in a backyard. I don't care if it's at a crossroads. I don't care if it's in the basement of a fucking school. There's somewhere you don't want to go very frequently. And if you do go there frequently, cleanse the shit out of the place after. You know what I didn't do? Cleanse the shit out of the place. Mistake after mistake after mistake. So here's what I mean about baneful workings. Concept being really good. This, I felt it was justified. I had the intention, I had the materials, I had a hex that probably would have worked really well. Then every step along the way got fucked. Okay, did it in the house where I live, in my room where I sleep. All of that negative energy just is in there, okay? And then I didn't take it far away from my house. And then I didn't cleanse. And then it fell and stayed in the gutter for 4 years, and I just didn't deal with it. Don't be me. Practice safe hexing. But this was the experience I had that taught me the most about magic. Did it suck? Yes. But it truly did teach me the most about magic. It taught me the best ways to undo things. It taught me the best ways to, if I have to do a baneful working, the best ways to do it, how to do it, what kind of materials I like working with and what kind of materials I don't like working with. There's just a lot there that's, you know, helped me and taught me. And here's the thing, once again, I don't want anyone to take from this video that you shouldn't hex because it will backfire. What caused the backfire were my actions, not the doing of the hex itself, but the fact that I fucked up the aftercare. I'm just gonna call it aftercare. I fucked up the aftercare. Hexing aftercare, disposing of it in a place that's far away from your house. Crossroads, railroad, wherever is, you know, used in your tradition. Cleansing yourself, cleansing the space you did it in, giving blessings to yourself and blessings to the space you did in. If you really are in a position where you don't know how to undo a backfire, go to a metaphysical store and talk to someone there. Because most of the time, or like contact a teacher, contact a mentor, contact someone. At this point, I always say, go find your local metaphysical store, walk in and ask someone for help. Because I know that near me, that's something that's normal. Like someone will come in and ask and be like, hey, I need help with this. And a lot of metaphysical stores will be able to help you. You have to find the right one, right? So it just totally depends on your tradition. Because sometimes, you know, I'll talk to peers, be like, I don't know what to do about this. And they'll give me advice. It's about community and watching out for each other in these ways, especially when something goes wrong. But also know that if you're doing that kind of work and you don't know, like yourself, the kind of bare minimum of taking care of it after or making sure it's not gonna backfire, doing everything you possibly can to prevent it, you probably shouldn't be doing it. Because God forbid it goes really wrong and something happens. And then what? I don't know. I don't know if that makes any sense. Don't do anything that you don't know how to undo. That's the lesson of this video. Don't hex in the house and don't leave a hex in the gutter for 4 years. This is my first tea time, story tea time. Let me know if you're interested in more story tea times and what kind of stories you would want from me. I kind of like this video essay type of deal. And let me know about your worst backfire or witchy mistake in the comments. And I will, talk to you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching. If you want, you can like, comment, and subscribe, or turn the bell on. But if not, absolutely no pressure. Remember to drink water and have a great rest of your day. Siate benedetti.